Hello, and welcome back to Neverwinter Nights, Arelith. My name is Duke, and we're going to be carrying on where we left off last time, quite some time ago, with Alfred Hardy, who was leaving the city of Lightkeep. That was, or the ruins of Lightkeep. And, yeah, on my way out, I met these two lovely ladies, who seemed well capable of handling themselves. Not that particular creature, that undead monster, whatever it was, is pretty easy. Even I can take one on. But yeah, so currently, I wasn't entirely sure how Alfred felt about the whole business of going in, because it's kind of hard to play a character that's sort of down to earth, like really from sort of humble beginnings, doesn't know anything, and then now he's pretty high level. He's level, I think, 16, 17 or something. And at level 20 you reach epic levels, which is like you're near godhood almost in D&D respect anyway. On the server it's kind of different. I don't really know. It varies between characters obviously, but so I felt that the whole experience would have left him quite shaken. I mean, last time we saw a bunch of dead corpses. Dead corpses as opposed to live corpses. Which can happen in a fantasy setting, I suppose. But no, it's not an undead city. It's a demon and devil-infested town. Yeah, it's... he's sort of dealing with it in a way that sort of... He's like blocking off all of it, and he's trying to act tough. That's how I played it out anyway. I'm not sure if it was the most suspenseful of approaches to that, because obviously I've never been through a traumatic experience, and at the same time it's not like he is detached from it all because it's not anyone he knows, and it happened a long time ago. But at the same time, I mean, it is like gory, sort of pretty grim things that he witnessed. So, having to explain it to these two, I'm going to call them paladins, because I think they are. They certainly seem to have those access to the same things paladins have. But I mean, I'm not entirely sure if that was, if that is what they are. That is my assumption anyway. So they sort of question him for a bit to sort of try and glean information as to why he is acting so sort of dismissive of everything that's going on in the city. And yeah, it was just, I don't know, I just took that approach. They don't buy it, I don't think. And it's pretty quick that they sort of get under his skin by reminding him of the particular details of that experience. So yes. Either way, this is gonna be going for a while. But besides that, it's mostly just that's the entire conversation in a nutshell. But yes, I haven't actually played Arelith for some time. This is me coming back from a break, and it is there's quite a few reasons. I'm pretty sure I've brought this up before, but the reason to have breaks from Neverwinter is because it takes such a long time to get anywhere, really. The amount of time that you have to put in, not just in terms of gaining, I don't know, character levels and power and such. That's quite... I mean, it doesn't really matter. In any other case, except whenever you meet someone and you talk to them and you go on adventures with that person, if you go away for a week or two, that person has kept playing, and chances are you're not going to be the same level, and you can't, like, that friend that you had is no longer able to be your friend on the road, because it takes away the experience that, well, I mean, you can have fun, roleplay and such, but I often feel like if I go out on a dungeon run and go and kill things, even though it's fun to do it just to, I mean, you do it because you have company and you have this sort of shared thrill of facing danger. But at the same time, you don't want to repeat the same dungeon more than maybe once or twice. Preferably. It's often the case that some places offer more experience with lower risk compared to some other places. But if you want variety, then you really should just go somewhere and explore. And it's, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, if you have a higher level person with you, and this is something I don't understand when high level players offer to join you. I can understand them giving you like certain benefits, but then if they come along and they sort of leech out the experience from the party, so you get like 1 experience per kill, then that only means that you're wasting your time, because you have a limited amount of time to do things, and if you want to explore the entire island, you're going to need those levels to fight certain monsters and access those areas. So in terms of exploring with a group, I tend to find that it's best to do with, well, I mean, everyone does. Everyone's like, you need like a 1 or 2 or maybe 3 level difference between the party, and then everyone gets the experience they need, and it's all much more enjoyable in that sense, because it's not that you dislike the person or the character that comes along when they're higher level, but it also takes away the whole risk aspect of the dungeon run as well, because I would much rather have a very sort of lower level party that is likely going to croak or like face an obstacle that they can't overcome, than have one person in the party be the hero and sort of take you on a guided tour of a dungeon, so to speak. Like here's where we keep the skeletons. There's the lich. There's the thing that you need to hit to kill the lich. I mean, it's kind of sucks out the fun of it all. Either way, we've come to the end of the conversation now. A friend of mine suggested that the voices, or like everything, would be voiced. That I would start voicing all the characters, and I don't know if I would read out all the different gestures as well, but that would be a very time-consuming thing to do, I think. So I chose not to. Now, there was a point when I had a I've sort of had like an extended break from making videos of of Arelith, but there was a point when I decided not to record anything, and I was just playing the game, and I introduced a number of friends of mine to the server as well, and they really liked it. And what happened was, now thinking back, I really wish I had recorded it, but it also, like, because I have to use Fraps to do it, it kind of soaks up all the memory, not the memory, the space that I have on my computer to store all the video files. But yeah, those friends of mine who started playing, this is like the first time they come to the server, and it's like the first thing they do, they get introduced to a bunch of sort of, I don't know, they're like ruling members or like council members, not council members, but sort of like important figures of the server, and then they sort of get intertwined into all these different plots, and one of them becomes, pretty sure one of them became like a council member of a city, something that's never happened to me, and I've played on the server for like 5-6 years. Not that I've ever aspired to do so, but also I feel like everything fell in place. It was during the witch hunt, or like warlock hunt, sort of, a lot of DM activity seemed to be around that time. So it enhanced the experience that the world was a lot more alive than I'd ever seen it. It was a very active server at that time, so it was pretty cool, and we had a blast. But then at the same time, it sort of petered out, as all good things do. I don't know what really was the cause of it, because most of us were quite active, but I think it's like different things. Now there's so many games to play that I don't think anyone has time for Neverwintering at the moment, except for me, for a little bit. Or like I picked it up again, and I'm going to make another video about the different new changes that have come to the server. But yes, this comes back to the point that I was making about the time investment, because I don't know, we just sort of stopped, and I think one of the reasons was that there was like a lull. We had the initial sort of curve up, at least for me, but then it sort of started to die down, or things weren't moving at the pace that we wanted to, or I wanted to, and yeah, it was. There was a point where you felt like you needed to sort of sit around, or like do a lot of. I think what the problem was is that I absorbed myself on one thing only, rather than allowing my character to expand into different things as well. So my character was sort of doing the one thing, and because the one thing wasn't moving forward at the rate that I wanted it to, it's sort of, because it was relying on other factors, like other players, or like with different time schedules. So I decided not to play as much, or it like sucked. I don't know what happened, but I was like, I guess I was bored, really. That can happen, and yeah, I always come back. It's just like at times I feel like not feeling like playing. So what I have done instead is I started my friends and the same group of friends have started a sort of Pathfinder group, and currently I'm the DM. Lord knows why, but it's the first time for everyone. So the first time for me DMing a campaign. And it's the first time for a lot of people to actually take part in a proper sort of role-playing tabletop thing. So, but everyone had like a background of role-playing, at least on Arelith. So in Neverwinter, we sort of introduced a lot of people to role-play and how fun it can be. But now we're doing it. Now we have like sort of condensed sessions where things happen at a rate that we like, and we can sort of speed things up or slow things down as we please. But this is me coming down the steps, having followed the two paladins for some time, and picking up the valuable things that they were leaving behind. I was astounded. What? Why are they leaving all these things behind? So I snuck in. What I could have done in that situation, when the door was open, if I passed through, they wouldn't have known that I was coming down because the door was open. But because whilst I waited, the door had closed. Like I was looting dead things. So the door opened, and they obviously knew someone was coming down. So the reason one of the characters turned into an Umber Hulk was because Umber Hulks can see everything. They've got true seeing. So I was revealed, and but I didn't know what was in here, so I didn't know how far they'd gone. Maybe they'd gone down the corridor, and I could have sort of slipped in, but I mean, it wasn't my intention to stay hidden the entire way through. Just stealing all the valuables behind them, and you know, I don't know. Maybe I would have leached some experience as well, just like hanging at the back, trying not to be seen. Which seems very Alfred in any case. But I've come to explain myself that I'm not a coward. All right, I've sort of this is the reason I'm really here. It's like the sort of judgment that I got from these women was too much for Alfred. It bruised his ego, and now he's here to prove himself. If not to himself, then maybe to the ladies. Although I doubt they would care either way. So he's there. Another reason is, of course, as I explained, parties. I've not adventured with many parties on Alfred. The fact that he's level 16 is a miracle in and of itself, because, I mean, he's... I don't venture out all that much, and after a certain point, I have no idea where to go. I don't know what the dungeons are. Usually you have to go to, like, some sort of a dragon island at some stage, or fight some magical creatures in a different plane of existence, and that was like, I don't think that's my character. I feel like he's sort of more down to earth, so he doesn't like seek out danger, and he doesn't go around asking people to take him to these places. So a lot of times I happen on a group who is possibly the right level, and this area seemed to be, in terms of the challenge rating, I guess, is even with my level. So I can actually be here, and if I kill things, I benefit from it, rather than it being too easy. It's probably a little too difficult for my character, but that's because of the way he's been built as a pure rogue. He's nothing but rogue. There's nothing else about him, and you probably already noticed the hotkey for the pickpocketing, and he's sort of, that's his thing. So he's not a character that is very combat oriented, and he relies a lot on other characters to take care of him, which is what I was aiming for in this case. This was a great opportunity to not only learn the area, because I've never been here. This place is far too dangerous for me, and you never want to venture out anywhere alone. One particular reason is that my character has a mark of destiny, which means that he gains more experience, but he gains more experience from, I think, the roleplay rewards that you get, which is every 6 minutes you get like a small bonus experience for role-playing. And normally it's 10 for me. That's like the baseline, and then the mod adds 20 to that. So every 6 minutes I get 30 experience points. But the trade-off is that I only have 10 lives. I know I have way less than 10 lives right now. One big problem with the mod is that if you forget how many lives you have, you don't really know until you die. You don't find out how many you have left. It would be nice if I could use the item to see how many deaths I have left and then plan ahead whether or not I want to risk any of them. But here I am, risking my lives. It's kind of like being a cat. You have a certain amount of lives. I think you start at 10, but I'm down to like 7 or 6 lives at the moment. And here we are fighting these creatures, or they are fighting the creatures. I'm just staring in awe as they kill everything. I have a bit of an issue with this area because that is a dracolich. It's like a dragon lich. It's called dracolich though. And those things are undead, and all undead are immune to sneak attacks. So my attacks do nothing, which is why I need an essence of some sort. My weapon is ineffective at the moment, so I don't even do damage with the regular bows or whatever it is. So I'm going to use some essences on my arrows, which add a certain element to of damage to the attacks. Also, the aura that's around it is an aura of fear, which would cause me to run around like a fool. I do have a spell on me that makes me immune to... Or, correction, it would make me immune if it hadn't been changed on the server. So, it no longer gives you immunity against evil spells, evil mind spells. So, it only gives you a boost to that. And there are a number of different changes to spells on Arelith from the vanilla and Neverwinter Nights. Most of them are really good, and there's a reason why that's been made, is because the spell I'm using is like a level 1 spell, or level 2 spell. In fact, it is a level 1 spell, I know that for a fact. And yeah, everyone used that instead of the more powerful mind immunity spells, so they decided that enough is enough. You need to use the more powerful ones if you really want to be immune to magic. Or mind control. So, yeah, either way, we bring down this big beast, and yeah, they did most of the work, I have to admit. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how to put things, because Alfred fights... He's fought trolls. He can fight trolls. He can deal with trolls. And this is like I said, it's the first time for my character to meet any of these creatures. So for some, I don't know, these players obviously know what they're doing, and these characters have been here before, I would imagine. And a lot of players who have played through certain areas, they don't really want to sit around and roleplay about the sort of creatures, or like you can't like have a mental breakdown that takes up the entire time, because you have limited time on the spells that you've used to buff yourself as well. So players usually want to sort of move on. It's a lot of money, and it's a very heavy head, so I decided to leave the dragon head behind, even though it would probably fetch a large amount of money. So they dash off. And yeah, we kill the last of them. Well, the ones that are here, anyway. Some small devils. Apparently there's a different area of the keep that is still infested. And I'm looking at the door, because there is a door right there, but we're heading out of here, just back the way we came. And I quickly ask, what is behind that door? I'm not gonna like what I hear. Although, I mean, judging but like the mess that is on display, you'd think he would be able to make that sort of leap. That is, the mouth of hell leads directly into Avernus. So, yeah, it's not the thing that you want to hear. Or Alfred doesn't want to hear. Maybe some people would be thrilled to hear that there is a portal to hell behind the door. Like, not like, I don't know, a couple of 100 feet away from you. Hard to believe it's so close. This is your mission to prove you are a coward, or you are not a coward. So this is the sort of tense moment, or like this is the turning point in this whole adventure. Is when everything comes into scrutiny again. It's no longer about killing things for. But you sometimes there are dungeon runs that you sort of go through and you're like, all right, we'll just run through this. There's a boss at the end. Everyone can like sort of have a chat along the way, but you don't really think of going back. You don't think of the location all that much. It's just a bunch of monsters that you're killing, and you get rewarded at the end of it. So it's like a day out. For most people, I like to have a play with words as well. I'm not sure if you've noticed that. So, saying things like "I'm not that foolhardy, hardy though I am," is I don't know. I just like to entertain myself with that stuff. It's not really. I'm not sure if it's a sign of anything, but it is what I do. For every devil we slay, we only push them into hell for a while. We have to head into hell to crush them for longer. I like how also it's like, is your mission to prove you're not a coward? Oh, don't worry, I'm not asking you to take me into hell. It's just like. It is kind of like a test of bravery, and they discuss the fact that, Alfred's obviously there to sort of, I can do this. I'm a hero sometimes, I can fight these creatures. That's fine, but I can do it on my home ground. Like, we can drive them back and stuff. I'm all for brave and heroic. Well, it's due, but come on now. You're not seriously going into hell? It's like, who does that? And then Seraphine obviously takes everything not the way that Alfred intended. She's like, you're right, even though you do not directly say it, we must head below. It was like we were heading outside, and I was just making conversation. I didn't actually think they would go there. But apparently we're going to hell, and I'm not sure what's behind this door, but I do follow. This is like deeper inside the fortress that once was. But a lot of bodies. I'm assuming these were left behind when the portal opened in the first place, and they've been here for a long time, and that is a very apt thing to say, I feel. So yeah, it's kind of. I'm still unsure whether or not Alfred would have a mental breakdown about something like this. He's sort of. I mean, he is an adventurer. let's not beat around the bush here. He is an adventurer. He's not a commoner, even though I sort of roleplayed him to be a commoner at the start. He's risen above that because he can actually fight goblins and trolls and lizard creatures and whatever else, bandits, that sort of thing. But when it comes to dragons, I always feel like dragons are sort of, particularly in D&D, dragons are supposed to be able to talk. And they can transform themselves into anything. They know magic. So dragons are sentient creatures rather than animals. Not only that, they're very devious and smart and obviously massive. So if you meet a dragon, I want it to be like a special case. But apparently it's not. it's not quite like that on Arelith. So I don't know how I feel about seeing them all the time. But yeah, I really like this the character portrayal, because they each of us get, this is like, we're like polar opposites. Alfred is the coward. He wants to go home and just, I don't know. He wants to have, the reason he's an adventurer is because he got bored, and he kind of, he does things because to entertain himself. Really, he has these skills, though limited in some areas. He's still able to, get by and do spectacular things that other people are not able to do. But at the same time, he does retain a certain element of humanity, in the sense that I'm still that guy from the farm or whatever his background was. I'm not really up to all this saving the world business. Whereas Seraphine and Gabriel Lace here, clearly, yeah, they're just suggesting go home, have your drink. Not asking you either, though. Yes, you can come and risk your life for nothing other than saving people, or you can go home and drink and wait to die. This is about proving myself brave. It's a bloody cruel joke. It's just like, you've made your point. We can go back now. Take a look around. I'm trying not to, lady. It's like, I'm ignoring this whole scene. Look. And look hard. This was home to many people not long ago. Just like Cawdor was to many. Just like Bender is to the Hin. I'm not sure if Cawdor should have a past tense there, but either way. Go take a look at the Durgar-invested dwarven ruin on the spires. That, too, was inhabited. Do you like the smell of fine wine here? Is it a nice smell on your nose? Yeah, sometimes I really love this moment. This is like one of my favorite RP moments of all time. It's sometimes hard to come up with words that really describe what you're feeling as a character. But yeah, I finally find it. I finally sort of put the words together that Alfred is really torn. Like he sees the sense, or he like hears it in her voice, but at the same time, looking past her, he sees the insanity, that portal, that thing that he wants to ignore even exists in this world and wants to forget about. He's sort of like, that's the way he deals with problems. He just shoves them away at the back of his head, mind somewhere, and lets other people deal with them. They're too big for him. Let's put it that way. So what Gabriel here is giving me is a portal lens, which can transport you anywhere on the island that you've visited. There are different places that have these sort of, I don't know what to call them, they're just like sort of portal areas. It's a portal, some sort of a magical link between all the portals. but they're only destinations. So you can't go to like a portal destination and then go from another place from there. You need these. You either need magic or you need these portal lenses in order to transport yourself to the places you visited. So yes, I've been given. Oh, Alfred has a way out. And he's asking Gabriel if she too is determined to go through with this. I'm here because I want to be here, not because I have something to prove. If you're not ready to be here, you shouldn't risk your life. You know I can't go there. This is about all I can stomach. I don't think less of you for that. I feel like at this point, Alfred does. Alfred thinks less of himself for thinking that way, but he can't help himself. And even though I'm pretty sure Gabriel is sincere, but I think Alfred's still thinking she doesn't. She does think less of him, and that really sort of, I don't know, it sort of churns him on the inside. Will he be all right? It's one of the strangest questions you can ask from someone. You know, will I ever see you again? Good luck going through a portal to hell. There's not many things you can say to someone like that. I urge you not to ask questions you cannot aid the outcome of. Enjoy your afternoon. Try to be happy. So they step through the portal and leave Alfred by himself, and the demons. Not really the demons within him are starting to sort of claw at him, and he really wants to just put all this behind him. Just like every other problem that he faces, it's just like, no, this is enough, I'm leaving. So yeah, that he chooses the I don't know, safest destination he can think of, and portals out through the use of this lens that he was given. Yes, this concludes today's roleplay session. I hope you have enjoyed it. Apparently, by the way, this came as a surprise to me that anyone from the server would be watching, but I got a very nice message from somebody, a fellow player, who said that they'd been watching these videos for some time with the family, or their wife, and I'm not sure if they brought the kids, assuming they have any. It's like, look, kids, it's Arelith. This is what we do. But yeah, apparently it was enjoyable, and I felt obliged to make more. Seeing as it's been so long since I uploaded anything, and I was playing. I mean, I was back on the server again. I was sort of getting to know the new changes that have come to the server. So I don't know. I always felt like I was doing this for myself, or for players, or like for people who didn't know where to roleplay in a sort of persistent world setting, because a lot of MMOs, take the latest one, Black Desert for instance, it has a lot of great mechanics to it, but I wouldn't roleplay in it, because this is like a controlled environment, is Arelith, and it offers a lot more tools with which to roleplay and with which to tell a story. So even though the combat can be very dated compared to most titles that are coming out, I still adore this game, and I think it is totally worth, well, it's certainly worth the money now, because it's like really cheap on GOG. So yeah, I wouldn't trade this game for any other game out there, really. And I'm happy to receive feedback from people who know the server and, you know, have spent time on it and think that my videos are worth watching. Apparently it was taking too much of their, like, it was taking time away from their playtime, which I found amusing. But yeah, so yes, I hope you have enjoyed it. My name has been Juke, and I will see you another time in the world of Arelith, and possibly in other places. But yes, I bid you farewell.